Okay, hold on. I'm going to come over here now. We are going to come back and re-grab this chat really quick. Thanks for your patience, everyone. It's better to have sound than not. So let me grab this chat really quick. I'm glad at least I had figured out the other chat so that I could tell there was no sound. All right, let's see. Grab this. The best laid plans, but at least we're learning some things. Almost there. Thank you for your patience. Oh, hold on. This is what I get for trying to do too many things. Okay, hold on. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. We're almost there. We're gonna try this one more time. Sorry. Okay, let's one last. Here we are. Okay, I see we have excellent. Now let's see. Where is our Okay, thanks for your patience, everyone. We're gonna get this, I promise. So close. Okay, reloading the live. Okay, you have sound now. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna copy this really quick, get this link, pop it into my reader thing here so that I can see what's happening. I appreciate so much your patience, everyone. I know that this is not nearly as exciting as it should be. Okay, get that applied. Close it out and see it. Okay. Okay, yes. All right, we see everything. I see everything now. It's so nice. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay, I'm so glad we got here. Here we are. We are going to start over again now that we have sound and everything. I am Amy from Amy Rooney Designs. We are going to talk about our Skinny Stripe foundation paper piece pattern that we are going to turn into a zipper pouch. I am not sure why this looks so laggy to me, but I think we'll keep moving forward. All right, so this is a really simple method. I will be doing some more video tutorials in the near future where I will show you different methods for making zipper pouches, but this is by far the simplest way to do it. Now, the only thing about this one, when I first started making zipper pouches, this little bent corner on here drove me nuts. And I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to not have these bent corners. But as I have gone on, I actually kind of like the look of it. So this pattern will end up with these little bent corners, and that's because we're sewing the zipper tape right into the side seams. And we also are, when we top stitch the zipper and the lining together, that's what creates this little fold and doesn't let it square up perfectly on the top right there. So that's the only reason that it's happening like that. Okay, so somebody is asking about the confetti pillow pattern. It's this pattern right here. It is coming out this afternoon. So as soon as I finish up with this live, I have the pattern all edited and ready to go. I just will compose that newsletter and it will get sent out shortly after this class is done. So I'm so glad you were excited about it. I love how it turned out. In fact, I was just thinking that I might have to think about doing a reverse version of it where the blocks are saturated and then the little confetti bits are white or a background color. I think that that will I think that will be fun. So that's the danger of being a designer, is I see it in so many different ways and then I want to make all of the different versions that I see in my head. So yes, that pattern is coming and it will be in your inbox this afternoon. Yeah, you haven't missed anything. All right, so let's get started making our zipper pouch. So in the last video that I was talking and nobody heard me. So let me go back and kind of reiterate a little bit about this method that I'm going to show you. So in the pattern that has the foundation paper piece pattern in it, it does include all the instructions for making this exact zipper pouch. So it will be this size, this high. I think it's a fantastic size for pencils and different things like that. Maybe it's a little big for what you need for your purse or something. So if you want to create your own size, all you have to do is pick the size you want it to be finished. So maybe I want it to be 4 by 6 so that it will fit inside my purse. I'm going to I need to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance to the sides and the top so that you're accounting for the fabric you'll lose. Otherwise you'll end up a little smaller than you want. And then you're going to cut 4 pieces that same size. So you're going to cut 2 outside pieces and 2 lining pieces, whatever size you've chosen. And then for your zipper, you're going to want a zipper that's 1 inch or 2 longer than the width of the fabric pieces that you're choosing. It just makes it really so much easier to sew it on if you're not fighting with the zipper pull and the metal tabs. So that's how you can take this method that we're going to do and convert it to any size zipper pouch that you want. It makes it super easy and really versatile so that you can make it for anything you want. You don't have to piece together the front. You can just use beautiful fabrics that you love. It's a great way to show off some lovely prints. That also makes it a lot faster. Another thing that makes it faster is if you use fusible fleece instead of batting to give it some body. So, excuse me, I don't recommend doing it without any kind of interfacing. I feel like the zipper pouch really needs something to give it some body and to help it hold its shape. I love fusible fleece because it also gives it a nice puffy soft texture, but you could also use like a medium weight fusible craft interfacing and that will also give it the structure that it needs. You can add decorative stitching to it. So I've just added some rows of stitching on here if you want. If you're using the fusible fleece, you absolutely don't have to. The backs of these I have chosen to just leave like this. If you do decide that you are going to do batting with it, I do recommend using just some kind of scrap fabric for the back of your batting, and then your batting, you know, just like a regular quilt sandwich, and then quilt it, and then trim it down to the size that you want your final piece to be. Just because when you add a lot of quilting, sometimes it can tend to shrink down the size of the piece that you're doing. So pay attention to that. Another little caveat that I'll give you about fusible fleece, sometimes depending on the brand, sometimes it wants you to use steam to fuse it, sometimes it doesn't want you to fuse steam. So make sure that you're reading your manufacturer's instructions. And secondly, it too can shrink just a hair. And so just kind of be aware of that when you're going for your final size and that kind of thing, especially if you use too hot of an iron to fuse it, then you can shrink the polyester that's part of that fusible fleece. Another tip, I've got lots of tips. When you are, especially if you are choosing to do your own size, but even if you're doing fusible fleece on this size, cut your fusible fleece a 1/2 inch smaller, both in width and height, than the fabric piece that you're doing. So in this case, we cut this down to 9 by 5. I would cut your fusible fleece to 8.5 by 4.5. And that way you don't have the bulk of that fusible fleece in the side seams. So it just helps give a little bit better shape to your zipper pouch. Um, and that's just, you know, personal preference. You certainly don't have to do that if it's easier to just cut them all the same. The other thing that I like about, especially with fusible, is if you cut it just slightly smaller than the pieces you're fusing it to, you don't have to worry about accidentally getting adhesive onto your iron. So if, you know, one edge is just a little bit too short, you know, and then your iron goes over it, now suddenly you've got sticky stuff on your iron. So that's just another vote for cutting your fusible just a little bit smaller than the fabric piece that you're fusing it to. I do not do interfacing on the lining. I don't think it needs it, especially if you're quilting it or adding fusible fleece. But if you want something that's really got a lot of structure, then go ahead and add some more interfacing as much as you want. All right, we're gonna switch cameras and I'm gonna come over here and show you our supplies. So I have my front and my back pieces here. And I have my fusible fleece. You can see that I have cut mine smaller than my fabric here, and I have that fused to both sides. And then I have my 2 pieces of lining, and they are all cut the same size as my front and back. Then the last thing I have is my zipper. I love using colored zippers. I buy mine on Etsy from a company called Zip It, and I will include a link in the description. I love that I can buy them in bulk from them, and they are really inexpensive when you do that, and they have all the colors you could possibly want. So I will put a link to where I get my zippers in the description. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take just our front piece, and we're going to have it right side up in front of us. And then I am going to take my zipper and I'm going to put it right side down, so they are right sides together. And I'm going to kind of center it on here, and it's totally fine. And in fact, you really want your zipper pull to be out of the way so that you don't have to worry about it interfering with your sewing. So I'm going to line that up, and you'll notice I'm lining up the top of my zipper tape with the top of my fabric here. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to take one piece of my lining fabric. Now this one doesn't necessarily have an up or down because, you know, they're all different directions. So just choose the top of whatever that's going to be. And then you're going to put that also right sides together with your lining piece. And you want to make sure that these 3 pieces, your exterior, your zipper, and your lining, are all lined up evenly. Check your sides here and make sure they're also lined up. And then you're going to pin it in place, all 3 of those layers. And then you're going to sew across this top seam using 1/4 of an inch. Now I do recommend using a zipper foot if you have one. It just helps keep the zipper teeth out of your way and from interfering with a straight seam allowance. Depending on the one you have, you know, it may or may not be as helpful as you'd like it to be, but that's my recommendation. Is a zipper foot can make that a lot easier to not have to fight with your the zipper teeth. All right, so now we have that sewn. You can see I have my seam sewn across here, and I have my lining and my exterior. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is take this to my ironing board. I'm going to press away the lining, and then I'm going to turn and press away the exterior and give it, obviously you do this with an iron, but give it a good press, and then you're going to top stitch across this seam here so that those are nice and secure away from each other. If you don't top stitch here, then sometimes what happens is your lining kind of moves up and it interferes with the teeth of your zipper. So it's important that you do a good job pressing that really well. So once I have that one in place and sewn down, we're going to pretend that's sewn down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my back piece for my zipper pouch here, and then I'm going to place my zipper. Again, you want right sides together, but because now we're working on the back, the zipper pull is going to be on the opposite side. And if you are, left-handed, you may want your pull to be on the other side of the zipper pouch. So just think about that for you, which side you normally open the zipper pouch and close the zipper pouch, and that may make a difference to you of which direction you like your pull to go. Okay, so we need to line up the top of our zipper tape with the top of our back, but we also need to make sure that the sides of our exterior fabric here are all lining up. So I want to make sure that the sides are lining up and the top is lining up. So that may take just a little bit of moving around and that kind of thing. Your lining might get a little bit in the way. So just make sure that you've got all of that lined up. And then we're going to take our lining piece and again, create that sandwich of exterior zipper lining and pin across the top, sew it just the same as we did the last one. When we do that, we will end up with a piece that looks like this. So I have my zipper pull over here. I have my top and my bottom pressed and top stitched. Everything's out of the way. And I have my lining here on this side. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open my zipper pull so that it's past the halfway point over here. That's going to make your life so much happier when you go to turn this right side out. So you don't want to go too close to this edge because again, you don't want to have interference with your zipper pull as you're sewing these side seams. But you do want to make sure that it's open generously so that you have room to turn it right side out. Once you have your pull open, I'm going to pull my lining so that my two lining pieces are right sides together. And I'm going to pull my exterior piece down so my exterior pieces are right sides together. Then I usually start with my exterior and I'm going to line up these edges here and pin those in place. I usually do about 4 pins and I'm just ignoring the zipper for right now. So start with your exterior and then I come over to my lining and do the same thing. I'm going to get these lined up, pinned together. And this next part is really the only tricky part of the whole thing. So I go ahead and pin a little bit closer to the zipper here just because it makes it a little bit flatter, which will help manipulate that zipper a little bit more. And now we're going to see, does that work? Do we have sound now? Do we have sound back? It looks like I have sound back. Okay, let me switch here. Okay, I super apologize. I am not sure what is going on with the software that I'm using. So if somebody wants to comment in there what the last part that you heard, and then I will start over again with that section. So can you hear me? If somebody could type in the chat that you can hear. Okay, yes. Thank you, Sigrid. I appreciate I appreciate that so much. So what was the last thing that we heard? Did we hear we got the zipper all set and we're ready to sew? Is that where we lost our mic? So if somebody wants to let me know, again, this technology thing is giving me a run for my money. Okay, didn't hear about pinning the zippers. All right, let's switch back. We are going to come here. Now, make sure there's no echo. Is there no echo still? Because I did add, let me just make sure that's off so that there's no. Okay, we are going to come back to getting our zipper pouch ready to sew together. So we've started by pinning the front and the lining, the exterior and the lining, and now we're going to work on these zippers. So you want to make sure that your zipper is going to be folded in half and your teeth are going to be right on top of each other. You want to make sure that your lining is pulled all the way out so that you're not folding over any of it here, and that the teeth are pointed towards the lining. So you're not trying to flip it the other way. All right, so then you're going to put a pin in place, and then again on the other side. Now this side's going to be a little bit trickier because you have this metal part here and you also have the teeth closed. So you're going to do your best to line that up and fold it right in half so that those teeth are right on top of each other. Again, making sure that you're not folding over any extra fabric into that seam there. And then we are going to pin it in place. And now we're ready to sew around our zipper pouch. So we're going to start and leave an opening in the lining so that we can turn it right side out. So I'll start sewing here, back stitch, and come to the corner, come down. As I approach the zipper, you're going to want to go a little bit slow, and then you may need to pause, lift up your presser foot, and kind of help ease this through. There's a lot of bulk at these 2 points where the zipper pulls, where the zippers are. So just do your best to kind of feed it evenly through there, and then you're going to continue on your way around. This side is harder than this side because you get to the zipper and you've got teeth and they're right on top of each other, and you just kind of have to push over the edge. This one is a lot easier because you kind of have a ramp up because you're starting with the zipper tape and you just kind of go up and over. And then you're going to come back and backstitch again. Make sure that you backstitch your beginning and ending so that you don't have any pulling of your stitches as you go to turn this right side out. Once you have that all sewn, you can see I have my stitching here is my opening, and then I have my zipper all the way around. And let me grab some scissors that I forgot. All right, so we are going to, yes, so Sigrid, yes, you could for sure. So this one, you can see on this zipper that I have some extra play here. I should have pushed my zipper a little bit further this way to make sure that that's out of the way, but for sure a longer zipper. So you can see on this one, I have a much longer zipper here, and all of my metal is way out of the way, which makes it super easy. So you're still going to run into It's going to be a little bit chunky here at this side either way, because you do, yes, have your teeth shut. So it's still going to be a little bit bulky there, but it's not going to be terrible. So once you have it sewn all the way around, we're going to take our scissors and we're going to trim off the zipper tape that is sticking out here. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to clip the seam allowance in our corners here. And you'll do that for all 4 of your corners just to help reduce the bulk. I'm just going to do it on these 2 outside corners before I turn this really quick. All right, and then we are going to turn it right side out through our opening. So I usually start with 1 exterior corner, and I'll stick my thumb in that corner, pinch it with my other finger, and push it out, and that helps me get really close to a nice square corner on there. I'm going to repeat that for this second one. Push it all the way out, and then you're just going to start easing all of that fabric through that opening. Then you can open that zipper all the rest of the way. Make sure that you push out this top corner by the zipper. And again, on this other side, it's a little bit easier because you've got, you don't have the pull there. And then I recommend using a blunt turning tool or something to push out these 2 bottom corners to give you a little bit more of a crisp corner here. I'll also take this to my ironing board with an iron and press these edges really well. The second to last step here is to push out these corners a little bit so you get a good look at the bottom of your lining. And then to get these seams folded under, usually what I'll do is I will roll these 2 side seams so that I have a nice straight seam here, and then I'll pull it, and you can see that that creates that straight line there. And then you can take this to your iron and press it. I usually just kind of finger press it. And then I just do a little edge stitch across this bottom seam. It's inside your zipper pouch. No one's ever going to see it. If you really don't want those stitches shown, you for sure can do a ladder stitch or some other kind of blind stitch, but I don't think it's necessary. I just take it to my machine, so right across that bottom seam, and then you'll just push your lining down in. I use my fingers to make sure that the corners of my lining match up with the corners of my pouch, and then it's all the way finished. Now, if you want to create like a little tab here so that you could either add a wrist strap or just to make it easier to open and close, I would do that back at this stage before you sew around all the edges. You can stick it in the side seams of your exterior if that's something that you want to do. There's so many fun ways to customize these zipper pouches. Like I said, you can change the size to make it any size that you want. You can just add fabric that you want to display. You can show, you can do small quilt blocks or anything like that. There's so many different fun ways to modify zipper pouches. So I apologize again for the technical issues with the sound. Hopefully we can figure out why that keeps happening so that it doesn't do it again. Hopefully we can get that done before tomorrow, because this confetti pillow class is going to be so fun. It will also be another quick, short class. It's really just straightforward patchwork. So there's only a couple of little tips and tricks to share with you. And then it will be nice and fun and easy. Then you can get that all sewn up so that you're all ready to go for our Thursday class, which will be the super fun hidden zipper pillow back, which is my favorite way of making pillow backs. I just think it's such a fun, crisp look to the back of the pillow, but it also makes it super easy to put your inserts in and out. So join me and be watching your inbox. This email with this pattern, if you are already signed up for the sew party, will come out just this afternoon. If you are watching the replay of this, and you are not yet on the email list, subscribe to the newsletter at the link below, and then both of the patterns will be sent to you, the Skinny Stripe foundation paper piece pattern, as well as the confetti pillow pattern. Thank you so much for joining me for the sew party this week. It has been a blast. If you want more information about my membership, where I do lots more classes just like this, we have a fun sew day. It's great for motivation to keep sewing and gives you lots of opportunities to improve your sewing skills. I hope you'll click the link in the description and check it out and join us for our fun sew days and sewing time each month. Commit to yourself to take some time for you. And until I see you tomorrow for our 10 a.m. Mountain Time confetti pillow class, happy sewing, my friends. Have a great rest of your day.